you certainly want them, or they're on the machine desktop as we ship the machines, so that they're there for your review. But again, the help files are there to explain anything that's going on with the software in the machine. Okay, we're going to get away from the top icons now. One thing else we want to look at on the top is the zoom bar. And again, the optics has a zoom lens in it. We can just change the magnification by just sliding the zoom. I also have the ability to change the magnification by pushing the button, and I'm doing it now on the top of the joystick and rotating it, which does the same thing. It'll take the magnification and move it up and down. So we have that. We're showing you the optical magnification rather than the on-screen magnification that you see in the image window. If I go back to the icons here now, we have a new, I can open a file, and I'm just going to pick anything out, just so that we get a file. And until I open a file, most of the icons over here were grayed out. This deletes the last step. Here I can delete a group of steps if I want to edit the program. In here I can edit a single step or copy steps. Underneath it we have our units, inch and metric, and then rectangular or Cartesian coordinates. On the top row we went to open, we have save, save as, and run. And again, run lets us execute whatever inspection program we have. The model's a 3D model, so I can rotate it in any axis that I want to. If I want to go back to the top view again, I just select top view, and it brings me back. I could be in an isometric view or one of the side views. This is just going through all of the views, left, right, top, bottom. We can turn off our nominal lines, and again, that's all we have in here at this point until we measure something. We have the points, we have the actuals. The button that you see on the top third from the right is our CAD programming. I'll go through that in a minute with you. Here we can zoom the model. I can certainly zoom the model bigger, smaller. Let's see the full model. I can print the model or save a picture of the model if I want to. And again, doing the same thing we did with the image on the other side here, just giving you the ability to save it or print it. Just to go through and show you CAD programming for a second, I'm going to call CAD programming, and you'll notice down on the bottom now we have the CAD Navigator highlighted rather than the Advanced Editor. If I go back and say I want to open a file, and I'm going to open the Fast Start file, it shows us a preview, and the first thing it tells us is how many features it imported. In this case it said 38 features. Now in the CAD programming we have to measure a piece of every feature that we have in the program if we're going to measure the whole part, or some amount of that. If we're going to let the system automatically generate a part. So if we had a imported features and it told me I had 10,000 features, then I'm not sure I'd want to do that on the machine. That's way too many features. If we had a few hundred or 1,000 or even 1,500 or 2,000, that's all right. So we've got the number of features. I'm going to say OK. All right, the next thing it does, and it tells me the physical size of the part. Now my part is an inch, and I'm approximately 2.5 inches, so I know I have the wrong unit selected. Most CAD files don't show you the units, or it's not stated in the CAD files. So we show you how big we believe the part is, and then that helps you select the units. On this screen also, I can come up and I can select features for deletion or addition. What I did is I just dragged across these 3 slots, and if I want to delete them from the program, I can just hit the delete button. So we have the ability to clean up the CAD file in the CAD program, and if I wanted to. If I had a file with borders on it, if I had a file with dimension lines on it, I could come in and clean them. If I took off something I don't want, I can say undo. All right, I go to the next step, and it tells me, do I want to use part setup by doing the alignment before opening the CAD file, or do I want to use alignment features in the CAD file? I'm going to tell it I want to use the orientation features, and I'll say next. What it wants me now is to pick my orientation features, and I can pick 2 lines, I can pick a circle in a line, or I can pick 2 circles. And just for a quick demonstration, I'm going to come back and pick the first circle. You'll notice that this circle turned yellow, and underneath the mouse cursor it says number 2. If I go over to the second circle and click it, that one is green. All right, I'm going to tell it to hit the next screen now. Now it says, do you want to use the part setup features as programmed add-ons? And I'm going to say yes, and we'll go through and show you just how this works quickly here. So I'm going to say finish. And what it wants me to do now, you see in the top screen, we've got the first feature blinking. It wants me to position that feature over the part. And all I have to do is bring it into the window and I say measure. All right, and then I say next. The machine's going to drive to where it believes the second feature is. In this case, my part was straight enough, it found it, I say measure again. And when I say finish, it'll go back and measure those two features for me. All right, now I'm ready to program. And to program, I hit the Thunderbolt, which is right under the enhanced letter words here. And you'll notice we have another menu that shows up on the sides. Now right now we said to inspect 50% of each one of the features that we pick. Bounds is how far we're going to look across the feature, or how much variability the feature can have so that I can still measure it. Multiple field of view construction says that if it takes me more than one field of view to measure the feature, I want it to put all of those features in the same feature together and make one single feature from them. Does it want me to measure during generation or just create the part program? And I can program either way. You also have the ability to do this offline. If something fails, do I want it to stop? And this would stop the program and I'd have to come in and perform some action. I can go back and tell it I want to create the step. And what it does is just creates a blank step. It's in the correct sequence of the program at the nominal location, but it didn't take a measurement, or I can tell it to skip it. In this case, I'm going to tell it to create the step. The next is stage optimization. Do I want to use CAD, order, or nearest feature? And generally, we always select nearest feature because we don't want to be running the machine the way it was programmed. We want to measure in some logical order. So if I come down now, and right now you'll notice everything is highlighted in a kind of wine color. I'm going to shut it off by clicking in the model, and I'm just going to drag a line around the slots. And I'm going to tell it to generate the steps. And what the machine's going to do now is go back and it's actually measuring the slots. It's doing it by itself just based on me selecting those features and tell it to generate the steps. Okay, it measured those features. And what my program looks like, if I turn off the CAD programming, I've got my datum that I set up in the program and I have the slots that I measured. If I want to continue programming, I want to measure the bolt circle. So all I do is physically come across and I highlight those. If I don't want to measure the center circle with it, I can turn that off, unselect it, and tell it to generate steps, and we'll just go over and generate the circles on the outside. Right? If I want to measure on the slot, one leg of the slot, I can just come up and click the one leg of the slot and say generate steps. All right, that basically is CAD programming on the system. The only thing I have left to do is to save the part program as a name. If I want to run this program, I just select run and say OK, and we'll go back and measure. Now when we're running the program, we certainly have to let the machine settle. We have to prescribe to all of the rules of measurement. When we're creating the program, we turn off all of the updates so that during program creation, the machine runs much faster. Because again, that's wasted time. You want to get that part done as quickly as possible. So program creation certainly is faster than the runtime. The runtime isn't that significantly slower. All right, so it took us 32 seconds to measure that little bit of the part. Okay, I'm going to go back now and just erase. We'll go back to where we were before we went into the CAD programming. This is, again, help on the top side. We go back, let me load a program again just to go back and show you the editor quick. The editor is interactive. If I want to print something, I want to print the radius in step 1. As soon as I click in that box, it'll show up on the left-hand side under the print column. So we show up on the left-hand side. Right now I don't have any tolerances in. If I put a tolerance in for the plus and minus, oops, sorry, what did I do there? We put a tolerance in for the plus and minus side of it, then that automatically shows up on the left-hand side also. So you're completely interactive. If I want to go back to this step, then all I do is double-click in the window, and it brings me back to that measurement step in the program. All right, we're going to let this conclude this part of the measurement. In the next half of the video, we're going to go on the machine and actually demonstrate measurement using the different targets and tools and some different parts. We'll demonstrate the touch probe and the laser.